He needs Brothans for that. If he has Brothans, there's a chance. Oh, Lydia gives him a chance. I think he needs Lydia Brothans for this to work, though. Bleeding Effigy, again with a banish, but we're not that graveyard intensive right now, at least. +5 boost. Okay, he probably thought we had a bigger card left. We kill Archbot here, and then he needs 18's doable if he has Brothans. Oh, and he doesn't, it's the Heat Wave. So we win. 2-0 there. GG. Power of Relics. Today we're playing some Relics. Relics got a lot of new cards in the last expansion. We're for Relics. We're playing them and trying them out. Obviously, if you don't think the new cards are the best cards, and maybe something else is better, then this deck won't be the best for you. But I wanted to try them out in a Relic deck and see how they did. So let's take a look at what we have. We're playing Fruits of Ysgith. Obviously, this is the best leader ability typically for the Relic decks. Although that's debatable, this really just helps. The Fruits of Ysgith fruit really helps with the Gernichora, and it's also good value. You could argue you can run something else, and there's other decks you can play with stuff like Force of Nature. It's pretty good too, but I want to run with Fruits of Ysgith just because I am not very good at using the Fruits of Ysgith leader ability. I gotta practice clicking the button every turn. I'm just kidding, but we're gonna be playing it, and that's, yeah. Hopefully we don't forget to click the button in this game. Any of these games, really. So with the Crystal Skull, we're gonna run Yaga. The reason we're running Yaga is because he's new and I want to try him out. He did okay in the Keltelius deck, but that deck's not the best deck for him, I don't think, because we really want to have the Sabbath setup in that deck. It goes really tall, and you can get Sabbath, but we're going to try and get Sabbath faster in here with more engines and stuff like that. So we're going to be running Yaga. Hopefully get a couple big consumes off, be pretty neat. The Bloody Mistress, again, we're going to transform into Gernichora as a big engine card. And then here we have the Witches Sabbath, so we're going to bring back Bloody Mistress, Witches Sabbath. Witches Sabbath here is not a win condition like it is in the Keltelius deck. There you bring back Keltelius and Cave Troll, and there you go, that's your win condition. Here we're just going to be using it to set up Sabbath really quickly, which will help us out a lot. Royal Decree. I wanted more consistency. Royal Decree is the card of choice for that, since we're not running Devotion. And we have that in here just to find whatever we need. Caretaker is a tech choice. You don't have to run Caretaker. I wanted the Purifies from it, mainly to deal with a lock on something like Yaga, because locks are probably going to come out. We have actually several very strong engines, and if they get locked, I want to be able to remove it. You can remove more than one, or it has to get locked himself. Keep in mind, Witches Sabbath only brings back monsters units from your graveyard, so you won't be bringing back Caretaker. Anyway, we have the Ratcatcher, Wispus, Brewis, Weavus. Self-explanatory here. We're playing Relics, we're running them. And here we have the trial. I actually opted for quite a few tech choices in this deck. You'll probably notice we have Caretaker for Purify. You're probably going to be running Purify to deal with Defender as well, so that's not too unusual. But here we have Trial of Grasses and Parasite. The reason for this is because our deck is really vulnerable to Xavier, because we're relying on Witches Sabbath to set up a Sabbath for another round. So we're really vulnerable to Xavier, and I wanted multiple answers to Xavier. The other thing is we have Incubus. Incubus brings back something from our graveyard as well, and we have a lot of graveyard interaction, right? So Incubus, Witches Sabbath. I really don't want to have stuff getting banished, so we can handle one thing getting banished, but any more than that I don't. So we have Trial of Grasses for 6 damage removal and Parasite for 6 damage removal. Both of these are really strong. Obviously Parasite's better because you can use it for the boost and help you with Sabbath. Trial of the Grasses is interesting. I wanted to try it out. I've been using it in quite a few decks lately as a second 6 damage option, especially stuff that's vulnerable. Anything that's vulnerable to Xavier. It doesn't have... Yeah, anything that's vulnerable to Xavier, I just put this in so we can kill it. Then we have Draggery of Wool. This is for a lock. It's less consistent than the damage because they can purify Xavier. But I like having the lock in the deck. You can take these out. I'll talk about what we can do with these real quickly. And then we have our own Xavier because we have to banish stuff. Now, this is a lot more control than you usually run in a Relic deck, at least in the last patches, but you don't have the raw engine power to overcome stuff anymore. Like previous patches, you could get, even after the Bloody Mistress change, where it doesn't change into Gernichora right away. Well, with Adarin, it doesn't transform with the same power. So we're not running Adarin, by the way, just because I don't think it's going to help us out too much here. It's too vulnerable to control, I think. And it takes a lot of provision, so I'd rather be running Witches Sabbath Yaga. If you take them out, you can very easily fit in Adarin if you want to go that way. And obviously, if you take out some of these control options, you can do that as well. So I just wanted to run with this. Try out the control. Xavier, I think we absolutely need. just to deal with the graveyard stuff. Like, if we don't banish a Melusine, for example, we can't beat the deck. So we really need Directory Evil. And then we also have these to deal with Meditating Mage stuff, because we don't actually have enough points anymore after the changes to the deck, especially change to Selfeater. That one hurt quite a bit. And the second change. And then the third change to Selfeater. So we need these control tools to help us out in these long rounds. Otherwise, we actually don't have the power we need to push through against enemy points. It used to be with Relicts that you could just get enough points that no matter what your opponent did, you had a chance of winning. That's not really the case anymore. So that's why all these control options here. You could cut these out very easily to take out, just take out these 4, and then you have a Mamuna, which is nice with the deck, 2 4 damage cards in the natural selections, and another 4 provision card. That's what you can do here usually. Mamuna would be a really strong option. You can also do that, take these out, and then drop a provision somewhere else and slip in She Who Knows. I didn't go for She Who Knows because everyone's playing Heatwave, so would rather have the not lose her to Heatwave. She's really strong though because Witches Sabbath brings her back. But yeah, that's why we're not running She Who Knows. It's really the real issues here that it takes the Yaga slot, and I want to play with Yaga because it's new. So this is usually where you'd have her, and then the Mamuna you would run in the deck if you take out these for 3/4 provision cards and Mamuna. Down here we have the Selfeaters. It's a really strong engine still. It's way weaker than it used to be. So when it first came out, it was a 6/6, and then it damaged itself down instead of having its base power, even though it says halved its base power, it counted as damage. So you had that, and then they changed it to a 5/6, and then it made it do the halve base power. The thing with doing damage equal to half rounds up. So if you have 5 and you do damage equal to half, you do 3, so it'd go to 2 if you split it while it counted as damage. Then they changed it so it counted as halving. When you do that, it rounds up. So if it was a 5, it rounds up to 6. Or not 6, 5 would split to 2.5 and round up to 3, so you get 2 3s, the same as before. And then, but when those 2 3s split, they both go to 2s. So it's actually a slight buff. It was a buff to the power of the card, but a nerf to how easy it was to kill, because at 5 power, all the bronze specials answer. Now it rounds down to 2, so even with the halving. So weaker even more than it used to be. Still a strong engine though, so we're going to be running it. Gains hand for the point slam, and then this as a 9, it's really hard to bring back Witches Sabbath as well. Although you don't want to be bringing back only those, you usually want to be bringing back a Gernichora as well as another engine. And then we have the Incubuses. Incubus is really interesting. So there's 2 thoughts here. One of the thoughts is you set up Lesser Witch, the other new card, which we'll get to. And the other thought is you bring back one of your engines, so Witch Apprentice, Selfeater. Selfeater or Gains Hand for the big points. Selfeater is really tempting if you boost up its base power of 1 pretty high, but you're going to split the first one, so it takes a lot of turns. Usually it's going to be Gains Hand or Witch Apprentice. Witch Apprentice is really nice, obviously, because of how many points it gives you. And then, yeah, the Witch Apprentice right here. Really strong engine. Hikimore Worker. This is a 4 provision card that's 7. And then Lesser Witch, so when you deploy it, you spawn a base copy of your graveyard. If it's bonded, spawn the copy on its row instead. What you do with Incubus is you use Incubus, give your opponent a 4, bring back your Lesser Witch, and then play 1 from your hand. Ideally, you just have both in your hand, they don't kill it, so you get the bonded off, but Incubus can set it up. So this is the deck. Hopefully I made it explained pretty well while we're running these cards, especially these middle provision ones. You could change them out if you want to. The big things to note here are She Who Knows is usually in this deck in the Yaga slot, but I'm trying out Yaga instead, just for a bit of fun. And I think Yaga is actually quite good, especially against things that boost really tall. And then Mamuna, the big call out here. Like I said, you can take out these 6 provision cards to fit her in. You could also take out your Yaga. You could also don't have to run Bloody Mistress, although I really think everyone pretty much does. If you're running any of the big cards, like Bloody Mistress, Yaga, She Who Knows, I'm pretty sure you want Reliquary. Onomancy is an option as well if you cut some provisions. Caretaker is the other thing you can cut out to fit some of these cards in, by the way. Caretaker and then 2 of these 6 provision cards. I would keep Xavier and Parasite. You can cut Directory Evil and Trial of the Grasses with Caretaker. It gives you 21 provisions, so you could fit in quite a few things with that. But yeah, so that's the deck here. I think that's all the cards I wanted to touch on. And, oh yeah, Adarin. So, I mentioned Adarin earlier. You can run Adarin. The only thing you have that spawns is going to be your leader ability. Getting a second one of those isn't bad. And then you have the Bloody Mistress creating as well. There is no Caranthier here, so you don't get the big plays. It's mainly why I'm not running Adarin. Usually run him with the the Caranthier if you're doing this. So I didn't want to go for that version. Caretaker can swap out for the Corinthian, but I don't think that version's as strong anymore, and it's just going to get answered. So I'd probably leave that to Koshé. But if you really want to run a Darin, you can take out the Caretaker, like I said, and then 2 of these, you can fit them in there too as well. So yeah, those are the card options and what you're going to do with the deck. Let's take a look at some games. Alright, let's get into game 1 here. Looks like we're going up against Double Cross. Should be pretty interesting. They can generate a ton of points if they are unanswered, so we're going to either have to answer their engines early to avoid that with some of our control tools, or we're going to have to get more points than them ourselves. This hand's pretty interesting. We do have our Witches Sabbath. We also have our Bloody Mistress and our Ratcatcheress. Ratcatcheress and Bloody Mistress, 2 of our best cards to get back from our Witches Sabbath, which is in our hand. We also have the Consume Crone. Hopefully we can get some good points here. Now obviously he can create a lot of points himself, so we need to either, like I said earlier, either answer those or make more of our own. I think in this case we have the Parasite for control, but we're actually missing our other control tools. So we're going to be going for more points here. So we need our Selfeater to stick if that's going to happen. So normally I'd play it right here like this, but in this case we're actually going to play the Brewess first. Reason for this is we can stick the Selfeater in between, and if he's running Assassination, it'll be protected. Usually, I think that the Double Cross decks, if they run control, I think they tend to run Assassination over Coated Weapons, although they're very interchangeable. People play both. That's certainly not a guarantee, but I want to avoid the option of getting Assassinated here, just because we're going to need the Selfeaters if we have a chance in this round.
A fine vintage.
Okay, we take a Zap there. And let's throw down the Selfeater now. Protected from Assassination. If he has Coated Weapons, that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. If not, we'll set up a second Selfeater, because like I said, we're going to need a lot of points to take this round. He's going for a pretty high tempo here. He's already played a Blightmaker, and he's also played his, what's it called? Dead Man's Tongue. Okay, he's got 1 engine out, so we'll spawn here. We'll throw this in here. The same reason here, we don't want this getting assassinated. There's a very high chance Eternity Joust, the one on the end. If he didn't hit us with a Assassination, which wouldn't have worked, or a Coated Weapons, probably running Eternity Joust. I think almost all Nilfgaard are running Eternity Joust to answer Meditating Mages or stuff created by Runeword, or stuff like that from Northern Realms. Alumni as well. So I expect Eternity Joust to come here and kill this. Oh, Artorias Vigo. That's interesting.
What is truth if not
I want him to make a copy. If he makes a copy of our Selfeater, we can Incubus back Selfeater, and our Selfeater will be way more useful than giving him a random one. So let's go here. Now we do have a lot of points here. We have Gansan, and we also have Ratcatcheress. Let's go Let's go Gansan here. Let's do this first. There's not much of a difference here. The only difference being Ratcatcheress is a stronger tempo play. And it also gets his base hard boost a little bit. But I want him to, if he has an answer, he's going to play Invocation or something, I'd rather he take Gansan and think we need it for Mamuna or something. Okay, so he did kill off one of theirs with Eternity Joust there. But now we do the Ratcatcheress. It's not going to make a difference yet. In the end, we'll lose 1 point from doing this. But I want to give him the option to Invocation us there. I also didn't really want it to get Spying, but I don't think we can avoid that because Spare Card's not going to die here. Remedy. Oh yes, he got a Selfeater. Perfect. This Incubus now gives us a Selfeater next round, so I want our Selfeater to get as high base power as possible. Spawn this, and then we have this. Okay, we've got engines here. We have enough engines that I think he's done for. I mean, not in the game, but in this round. Honestly, I'm going to throw down our Bloody Mistress here too. If he does anything else, okay, he's going to do more. By the way, the fact that he has 1 power Selfeaters makes me really happy because we can Incubus him a 1 power Selfeater, which he can't split until he plays another Relic by getting one from us. And then we get, what's our highest one right now? 6, a 6 power one back. Probably be a 7 if we play our Bloody Mistress, so that's really nice. Necrorat not going to help him too much here, although it will boost all of his Assimilate cards. And we go Bloody Mistress here. I think we'll consume, we can consume Gansan, or we can consume the token. No Incubus yet. We could play it without deploy. But the reason I want to consume something is so we can spawn another Selfeater. We could consume the Gansan. Yeah, let's do that. We lose a point if we consume the fruit because we're playing Bloody Mistress here. And there's no way he's going to keep going here. We just have way too many points, which is good because we're going to win on even. We win on even here, which is really nice. And then round 2 we start with the Witches Sabbath. We'll give him what? We'll give him 2 of the Mage Torturer. That's annoying. And then we'll give him the Djinn. That's not bad. It could be a lot worse. And then we get back our Ratcatcheress, which is 11 or 12 right now. We get back this Gansan, which is a 9. Then we get back either Bloody Mistress or this Selfeater. So we'll play our Incubus to get this Selfeater out of our discard pile first. And then we'll be guaranteed to get the Bloody Mistress. Not Bloody Mistress, the Gernichora. Same card. But the reason why... Well, Bloody Mistress / Gernichora isn't the strongest thing to bring back because we only get 1 fruit. But it's still an engine and a fairly big card to bring back. Okay, Can's pretty nice. I keep changing how I say that card. Do I want anything else? These Selfeaters, like I said, are really nice. Let's see. We could draw something better. Oh, Wispus is better. Okay, this is a good hand. So we need... Yeah, we got those 7 power Selfeater we need to bring back to guarantee our Gernichora. Honestly, the 7 power guy is probably better. But I want to bring back Gernichora, so. First we go Incubus here. Ton of value. Yeah, we got a 7. Perfect. Alright. Go here. And then where is Selfeater? Give him one of these 1s. And then we get back the 7 power one. Very nice. I think it's kind of weird that it summons out the Selfeater. Okay, hopefully he doesn't banish our gold cards. It could have been really bad. We're just gonna play this and see what we got. We're not changing our play here. What did he banish? I thought we were losing Ratcatcheress or Gernichora there, but especially Gansan. But I guess we kept them all. Like I was saying, I think it's kind of strange how when you play Incubus and it brings back Selfeater, the Selfeater gets its proc of base power increase because it gets summoned back, and then it counts it as on the field when the Incubus is deploys finished. So you played it and that boosts it. I guess that's how the game works. It just kind of feels weird. If you know what I'm saying. Tell me if you agree in the comments. Suffering ennobles, friend. You'll be Alright, so honestly, we gave him several engines back as well, though. So we got back a Ratcatcheress we got back 2 big plays and a 1-point a turn engine in the Gernichora. We gave him 2 points of Assimilate engines, so we have to really have to capitalize on the point slam value we brought back here. We gave him 15, and we boosted once afterwards. So it wasn't 11. We brought back 27. He brought back 15. So we got plus 12 points there. And we both got a 1-point a turn engine. Although his are more than 1 point a turn, potentially. Our Ratcatcheress is about 1 a turn. And Gernichora is a 1 a turn. Okay, so he's going to take Parasite. That's kind of... I guess that's okay. It's the same value as the other cards in our hand. Because he's denying us 2 points. So that played for 7. Same as Caretaker. Wispus plays for 8 for him. He should have picked Wispus. Okay, so that's going to be our Selfeater for him. That'll help him out a little bit. Yeah, if he picked Wispus, he gets his Selfeater +1, and then the Wispus plays for 6 and does 2 damage. So that's 9 total. He knows we're only playing 2 more Relics. And he removed a 1-point a turn engine because that one wasn't going to split again. Kind of weird. But we're up by 30 points. Still thinking about that. There must be a reason why. I'm not seeing it right now. Maybe there isn't a reason. Archwad is going to be a really big play. We have to keep that in mind. And then he hasn't played an Invocation or Heatwave or a Vincent, something like that. Thinking of Vincent, I should probably purify the Ratcatcheress in case he's running Vincent to make it a little bit smaller. We'll do that next turn. But yeah, like I was saying, if he has Archwad, it's a really big play. Okay, there it is. Let's see what we go for. I'm just ignoring the fact that he's banishing Xavier every turn. Again, Sandlet plays for 7, gives him a 1 boost. Then the Assimilates. Okay, he caught back up quite a bit as a 16-point play. We'll purify off the Ratcatcheress here, just in case he has the Vincent. It'll play for 4 less points. If he has Invocation or Heatwave, it doesn't matter, but this doesn't really matter. We're up by 25. 26 now. We do only have 7 more points. 6 from this Parasite and then 1 from our Gernichora. So that'll be it. Put this to 82. He needs 33 points and 2 cards. 34 points and 33 points. That's really hard. He needs Brothans for that. If he has Brothans, there's a chance. Oh, Lydia gives him a chance. I think he needs Lydia Brothans for this to work, though. Bleeding Effigy, again with a banish, but we're not that graveyard intensive right now, at least. +5 boost. Okay, he probably thought we had a bigger card left. We kill Archwad here, and then he needs 18's doable if he has Brothans. Oh, and he doesn't, it's the Heat Wave. So we win. 2-0 there. GG. Power of Relics. Game 2 then. Let's take a look at what we're going up against. Shield Wall. I'll think about this. It's probably Mages. Could be Siege. Like a Siege dual deck. But usually I think they'd play Inspired Zeal. There's also decks where you focus on the shields, and whatever the king guy is who takes them all away. That deck's not very popular, though. If I had to guess, I'd say it's Mages. If it's any sort of engine deck, we have a really big problem, because their engines deal damage and ours don't. So their engines kill ours, and then they have engines and we don't have any anymore. So what this means is, okay, so it's going to be Mages. We absolutely have to win this round 1, no matter what. If we don't win this round 1, we either get sieged round 3, or we get out-engined by Alumni's, because they'll just kill ours. That's going to be rough. Because then we have to push really hard round 2, and we're going to have to use up Witches Sabbath to do that. And we don't have a good starter for round 3, and then if we have something like Yaga in our hand, it's going to be bad. So I think we'll use Yaga early this round, so we don't get stuck with it round 3. Get Arzu Adept. Probably get a big Yaga consume at least. We have Lesser Witch. I just want to play something he's not going to feel the need to answer, so we can get the Sabbath faster. He might feel the need to answer that. Ratcatcheress now puts us to 25, which triggers Sabbath, and then we can go for our Witch Apprentices. That'd be nice. It would be really a lot nicer this game if we had Selfeater. Leticia. Well, that's a problem. We can lock it, and we have... Okay, yeah, that's not the lock. That was Xavier. We're going to lock her. Can't let that go off. If that goes off, we just lose the game. Because we are running the Parasite and the Trial of Grasses. We're not holding either. But if Leticia's order goes off, we lose the game from the Alumni's getting too big. And we'll just throw this out right now. We need to secure the round. This is probably the fastest way to start doing that. We're going to lose at least 1 fruit here to the Bernard student. Maybe that'll stop the Alumni from getting big. Unless he's playing casting contests and has it in hand, of course. And then, so yeah, we have to force this round out as quickly as possible. We will get to win on even, by the way, if we force this round really hard. Which is nice. And then round 2 we push, and then try to make him use up all this stuff. This game's going to be hard. If we push really hard round 2... Okay, there's a Darin. I can't actually kill a Darin, I don't think. Yeah, because we can't... We're missing both of our Parasite and the Trial of the Grasses. Maybe we'll go Yaga Consume. We're going to turn. Let's just go Yaga. This will get him out. It's a 23-point swing that we threaten. We have to stop this round from going any further. I don't want him setting up Meditating Mages or something like that. So we need to draw Witches Sabbath. Although it's not really great yet. I want to play Ratcatcher S still. Maybe we should have waited turn for Yaga. It's hard to say. Because the thing is, even if we go like 1 or 2 turns, you can make a whole bunch of Meditating Mages. Maybe it was right to wait another turn for Yaga. It's tough to say. I do want him to pass here, though. The thing is, we have to be careful. Just because the existence of Darin is problematic. Because we have our... Well, we're going to want to place Witches Sabbath. But at least we have Xavier start banishing stuff. Question is, how much do we banish? Because every turn we take banishing is a turn that slows down our setup. None of this really matters if we don't draw Witches Sabbath. Although we can still push without it, but it'll be a lot weaker and it definitely won't work. I don't want that. Yeah, this hand's not great, as in it's bad. No Witches Sabbath. Without Witches Sabbath this round, our plan kind of just gets trashed. We really need to play it this round, because he's gonna, if he's playing Shield Wall, he's gonna have Prince on Sace. And potentially also Selkirk. And those are cards I do not want resurrecting to his field while he has a Shield Wall active. But unfortunately we didn't get it. So, we didn't get it. It's rough. But we'll see what we can make happen here. It's going to be a very difficult game now, though. As you command. This is where Onomancy helps you out over World Decree. Let's banish Adarin. If we do draw Witches Sabbath round 3, we can't have Leticia and Adarin coming back. Okay, there's a Selfeater. Hopefully he doesn't kill this. If he doesn't kill this, the thing is he's going to make a bunch of Sentry and Spellweavers, and that's going to be the end of this round, because I can't deal with that much control. Just don't get another Spellweaver and we'll be okay. That's not our Spellweaver. We probably wouldn't have been okay anyway. But this is really bad now. We still have to push, though, because a long round with Alumni just means we lose. Even without Alumni, so a long round I think makes us lose. We don't have the potential for the short round, for the longer rounds anymore. Like, we have potential in him, but with him running stuff like this, his will be a little bit better, I think. So we really have to push now. What are we playing with Real Decree? Something we need to figure out. It's Brewis or Weavis. Probably Weavis. Weavis can boost this guy up. It's probably our best choice. We'll boost up the Selfeater so we can split it. We're really going to need him this round if we're going to do anything. But again, he's just going to zap him away with these Center and Spellweavers. I need him to play... I just want... Actually, don't even need him to play good cards. I just need him to play a lot of cards. Okay, that's not great either. He doesn't have Inspired Zeal. Maybe he doesn't kill it. We don't have Wisp set up yet. He knows that, so maybe he thinks we're not running more control. Some of these decks don't run a lot of control. He's seen Xavier and Dwargir Vol. Maybe he thinks we're not running Parasite. So we just hope he doesn't Shield Wall the Rafard's Vengeance here. We're going to banish it, though. Of course, we're going to stop being able to banish stuff soon. So we'll kill this. I just wanted to play a bunch of bronze cards and go to a short round 3 where I draw Witches Sabbath and that doesn't bring back some crazy duel for him or something. That's really what we want. We want him to play a bunch of bronzes. That's fine. Just play a bunch of bronzes. Just keep playing bronzes. And then we will play with, hopefully draw and play Witches Sabbath. That's our win condition here. So we keep playing bronzes so we don't give him... the thing is here, though, even if he does this, Witches Sabbath is bad now. Our best option is for the Witches Sabbath still, but I think it becomes really bad. If you think about it, we're probably bringing back 3 Center and Spellweavers. And in what world does that sound like a good thing? So, honestly, It might just be best if we don't even draw Witches Sabbath at this point, with so many of these out. I'll have to check his discard pile. Graveyard. Student, this is perfect, by the way. We just want to keep playing these bronze cards and make him go down quite a bit. That was the original plan. We don't have anything great. We have Kikimor Worker, Gernichora, and Selfeater come back from Witches Sabbath. That's not great. I'd like Ratcatcher S, but he's gonna zap it down. But I think we do it anyway. Ideally, he doesn't have a major spell here. Okay, he does. So we're gonna lose what? 2 points on her base power. That's not terrible. Then we have... The thing is, we can't keep playing here anymore. I mean, we could play one more card. We're gonna draw. We need to draw Witches Sabbath, but that gives him back Gerhardt now. Gerhardt 2 engines. Let's pass. I think we just don't play Witches Sabbath if we draw it, but he's gonna have duels here. We got too much value out of these Centurion Spellweavers this round. There's nothing we could do. Well, we answered 1. That's as most as we... Actually, we answered 2, I think. That's as much as we could do. Well, we got Rafard's Vengeance in 1, so we controlled 2 of those. Alright, so... We just don't want to draw Witches Sabbath. Okay. That's a bit unfortunate. But I don't think we're going to be in a good position here no matter what we drew. But Witches Sabbath here is going to be really quite bad. We're giving him Gerhardt and 2 engines. Best case scenario, we do this melee and give him 2 of the Arathusa students. That's our best case scenario. We do this melee, give him 2 of those. But they're still going to be boosting alumni because the patience ticks even if they're in the wrong row. Tetris is at 7. It's not great either. I think it would have been better to hold off on her last round. Just throw down our bronzes instead. But our best hope here... Okay, no students? Oh, that's right, because honestly, Bernard student's scarier. The damage is a bit scarier than the boost. We do have 3 nice cards here, though. This is pretty good. But the thing is, we give him Gerhardt. If he drank Tisea, we're going to get blown out. But again, maybe he's not. Okay, there's a shield. We could Purify. Although I really want to set up an engine. Which engine's better? If he unstasis us here, we're really in a lot of trouble. I mean, we're already in a lot of trouble. Alumni without the Zeal. That's good. It's really nice that we didn't give him an Arathusa student here, but it doesn't matter. I don't think we have it for the points anyway, because we really need Sabbath to get going. Gan Sand gets us there fastest. Selfeater does get us there as well. I want a Caretaker remove this Defender. I want him to feel pressure to use this Alumni Order. I don't want him to just keep holding it and then zap down my Witch Apprentice. And then we get to transform our Bloody Mistress, so that's nice. Okay, well, he's not going to feel pressure now. Let's see. Whatever engine we play is going to die, which makes playing the Witch Apprentice better first, I think. Okay, there's the 6 damage. Obviously, that's not fantastic. Ratcatcher no longer getting the minus base power, which is good. Okay, there's the 6 damage. Or 1 damage. I really think we should have killed 2 fruits there, but it's not going to matter in the end. We play Witch Apprentice here because it's going to play for 6, because he's going to kill it next turn. This also plays for... This plays for 5. He's going to kill it next turn. But it doesn't matter which one we play. Whichever one we play is going to die. Let's pick this one. Then we have the Alumni Orders coming in. Probably... If he gets Tisea, we just get absolutely blown out. There's Tisea. So he's going to win this game by quite a bit. We'll keep playing and let him do it. Just because why not? We'll talk about the deck a little bit while this is going on. So you can see here, the thing you can struggle with is other engine decks that have more points than you. This is kind of why I put in the control tools, so we wouldn't have to deal with this as much. But it still comes up. And Witches Sabbath is really strong, but not always. So in this case, like I said, I didn't want to draw it. It's like we gave him 3 engines, and that's obviously not good. We got back a 4 provision bronze, a damage, a weakened base power Ratcatcheress, and then a Bloody Mistress, which actually turned out to be better to transform back. So keep that in mind. If you're bringing back Gernichora without Sabbath, you'll transform back to Bloody Mistress. And then when she transforms to the Gernichora again, she'll spawn the fruits, which is why it's strong to bring her back. The previous game, I think we already had Sabbath when she came back, or she came back with so many points that we had Sabbath. You want to bring her back without actually Sabbath so she can transform and then get your fruits again and get the engine points going. That's what makes her strong. Obviously here he has a ton of points. This is going to go on the... I don't know why that didn't go on Gerhardt, but it doesn't matter. It probably didn't go on Gerhardt because it doesn't matter. Let's put this down. He wins by 45. GG. Let's go to game 3 here. That last one, perfect example of how other strong engine decks with a lot of engine buildup, especially damage engines, can deal with your stuff. And also of when drawing your Witches Sabbath is really bad. Looking at this game, we haven't shown off Lesser Witch yet. You've probably seen Lesser Witch. Ideally, you bring it back, you just draw 2, and you can get the point slam from the second one, or you Incubus to get it back. Hand buff here. Okay, so this is going to be the way we cannot beat hand buffs short round. No matter what, we can't beat them. They go to short round 3 with one of their buffed cards, even just Torque in hand. We just can't beat that. So if we don't win round 1, we lose the game. That's just how it's going to be here. So we have to win round 1. I don't care what we commit. I think it's best to answer this now. We just want to stop this going. Just stop it where it is. Mahakam Defender. Okay. So yeah, we have to get engines going. I think we have to be greedy. If we're not greedy here, it's not going to work. But he probably doesn't have a lot of control, so we'll throw down Selfeater. Yeah, like I said, if we don't win this round, the game's essentially over. Because he's going to hand buff round 2, then round 3 he's going to play a bunch of really strong cards. There's nothing we can do about that. So, in order to win the game, we have to win this round. And it's important to know that when you start these games. Like, it's important to know what your win conditions are. Lesser Witch here, we could play... I want to play Brewess to Ratcatcheress. We need to get to Sabbath pretty quickly. But I also want to play this Lesser Witch. Because if he is playing a Nature's Rebuke... Okay, it's going to be Circle of Life. About what you'd expect here. Torque getting buffed again. And there goes an engine. Now we'll do the Brewess. I wanted him to... Potentially, if he's holding Nature's Rebuke, I wanted him to be tempted to kill off our Lesser Witch so we didn't get the bonded effect. And then we can protect our Selfeater, but he went for the... Sometimes they have Nature's Rebuke and Circle of Life. That's what I'm saying, and then we would have avoided that. In that case, he did the smart thing and played Circle of Life on our Selfeater. Good choice. But giving us the option for the bondage here, which we don't have. Xavier probably not going to be good in this matchup either, because he's running Devotion, and he's not going to be playing any Graveyard Interaction at all. So Xavier is kind of just a 6 for 6 that we have to put back. So we have... The nice thing is we can bring our Selfeater back with Incubus. But first we'll do this Witch Apprentice. It's going to get us more points overall, I think. Most importantly, it puts us ahead on even here. I think now we Incubus. Oh, this could be bad. What would be the worst thing here? I don't know, nothing would be too awful. Probably Bountiful Harvest would be the worst thing. He gets Bountiful Harvest for another one of these. That's the worst outcome for us. But that's a pretty low outcome. Low probability chance that happens. I guess our Selfeater's only a 3 if we do bring it back. But we can bring Hawker Smuggler back ranged and it won't get any of its abilities. Okay, that's good. See, now when we bring back our Selfeater, it's a 4-point play because we give him 4 and we bring back 3 and Incubus is a 5. But then we get the engines. It's not going to be great either way. But we're going to have to play Incubus this round, and this is the best way to play it. So we're just going to have to keep going, no matter what happens here. The only card we can't play is Witches Sabbath, just because it won't do anything. Yeah, I guess this is the choice. Make sure we give him this range, looking at his ability, and then we bring back Selfeater. The reason we bring back Selfeater instead of Lesser Witch is that it's going to be worth one more point, because it gets the +1 when you bring it back here from the Incubus, so we can split it into 2 2s. Then the Ysgith will boost each of those to 3s. Actually, it's probably going to get hit here. Ideally, it would have worth one more point. Down 15. Like I said, though, we can't pass. So here comes Ysgith. This is 4 damage. We could kill the Hawker Smuggler again. Plenty of points for Sabbath. Oh, no, we're not playing that. We've Ysgith here. We'll kill off the Hawker Smuggler. And then he has Torque in 1 buffed card in hand, I think. Which means he's not going to play Torque yet. And he's not going to Leader. I don't think we're going to play his other buff card. Okay, good. And actually, we can pass and win on even here. Perfect. We didn't even need to throw down Xavier. Now I need every card in his hand to be bled out this round. That's what we want. He could be playing... The thing is, I do actually want Xavier to banish Bountiful Harvest, because a lot of these people are... Well, not a lot of them. Some of them are playing Shuffle back into deck. Bountiful Harvest with a Seer... Or not a Seer, Alyssa. So actually, I think I might want my Xavier. We have a really nice... Like, I don't think I want 2 cans. Selfeater. Okay. The reason we put back Selfeater is because we're kind of in danger of getting our rows filled up, and we don't have that many turns here. Selfeater's really good over a bunch of turns. Here we only have 4, so can probably worth more points in the long run. So we're going to have Selfeater would be this turn, and then the next turn, and I think he has some more control. The other thing is we know we're bringing back a Dualbethon, and a Sorceress, so Selfeater obvious target for some of this control. Okay, that's only 5 damage to her. That's annoying. The other thing is I need Sabbath. Oh, I don't need Sabbath, but I think... The other thing is we have Xavier, so we'd only get 3 turns of the boost of the Selfeater. I guess what's that? Two 2s. And then 1 goes to a 3, then 2 1s. 7. And then 2 more 2s, that's 9. It's the same points. But it also is vulnerable to being answered. Okay, so we need... Incubus here could give us another one. We'll split the Selfeater. We have fruits here. We'll get one of these out. I think we want Gansan to get up the... We're going to bring back the Witch Apprentice with Incubus. We have 10. Okay, this should get us exactly... I'll bring this back again because it doesn't do anything. Not Selfeater. We're going to pick the... Because we have 20 points now. And we'll get some points from the Selfeaters and the fruit. So we'll bring back Witch Apprentice. It'll be worth more points. We already have the 1 Selfeater. Perfect. And now we kind of just need to play... We're just going to play Gank Cans, hope it's enough tempo. That's what we have to do here. If we don't force out his entire hand of buffed cards, especially Torque, we're going to lose. Double Rebuke's really problematic here. We lose 2 engines. One of them splitting, and we're also going to lose Sabbath. Gank will get the Sabbath back. Very important. Not here, Fruit's not a relic. And that should give us Sabbath back. There we go. So he has Torque. Okay, there's one of the buffed cards, Yarin. Again, that answers our engine, though. It's really bad.
It's crucial not to lose your head.
If he has another buffed card in hand right now, we have a big problem. And it's a Bountiful Harvest. Perfect. We could banish that with Xavier. I was concerned he had another buffed card from Torque, but looks like it's just going to be Torque. If he leaders here, we go to 44. And we can still play Xavier. Or not leaders if he clicks the Dunka. Alright, we force out Torque here. Perfect. This is exactly what we had to do this game. Doesn't mean we win the game, but his short round without any buffed cards in hand is a lot weaker. And there's a 21-point Torque. We didn't want him playing round 3. So yeah, that was good. That was really good. Let's go to round 3 and see what we have. We still need a strong hand here, but his hand is going to be really weak. I've played quite a bit of Handbuff. Handbuff video coming out probably next Monday or something. Did make the deck. Okay, Yaga's really bad here, actually. Because he's running Circle of Life and Nature's Rebuke. We've seen one Circle of Life, and he created one. So he's got one Circle of Life left. Okay, we drew the Yaga. I'm going to put him back. It's too risky. It's too risky. Like, there we go. If we kept Yaga, it would die. So, we're going to lock this with Rare Revolt. Okay, in this case it won't die if we direct Revolt lock it. But you get what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of ways we could have killed Yaga. And playing a 1-point card, this is how we lose the game. Even if we're wasting 13 provisions by putting them back in our deck. Other stuff's going to be better. Selfeater here will play for 6 because we get to Thrive. And then we just pick whatever's the best thing in our deck. Circle of Life here. Only one unit left. It's going to buff that unit. So I don't think this unit has too many buffs. It's got +2 on it. What would be... Oh, that's bad. Don't get Waylay. Waylay's worth 6 here. What's that? I think we're good. No, even if he plays Waylay, we're fine. Because we can get out a 7 that procs our Selfeater and our Thrive. Making him bomb. If we still have Bloody Mistress and Caretaker. So Waylay would give him 2 more points. And we would be fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one of these pick. But if we had played Yaga, it would have died and we would have lost the game. But that'll be it for that one. GG. Alright, so what do I think about the deck? How is it doing? What would I change? All that good stuff. By the way, if you made it this far in the video, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. YouTube runs ads on on the channel videos, even though we're not a partner, just because that's what they do, because they're YouTube. And I'd like to be able to use some of the tools like the polls, so we can send out polls to see what decks you guys want to see, stuff like that. So if you'd like to help out getting us to that 1,000 subscriber mark so we can actually do stuff like that, that'd be fantastic. And if you've waited this long, I'm sure that you're enjoying at least some of the content. So just consider doing that. Now back into the deck here real quick. I think Yaga's really interesting. I played 4 or 5 games before this video. I don't know, I'm going to keep saying this. When I make these deck videos, I play some games, settle on a version I like, record the cards in the deck and explain why I'm using them, and then play 3 or 4 games usually in a row right afterwards, so you get my feel for how the deck is in a few games. And I'll go cherry picking the games. So then you see what happens. Let me go here and talk about what happened. So Yaga here in these games here, it got 1 big consume off on a Aretusa Adept, which was nice. And he's a fun card. Definitely if you want to get highlights, you can do this. Although if you want to make a deck focused around Yaga, maybe you want Cave Troll. But he's quite fun. She Who Knows might be stronger overall, just because if they kill her without banishing, or taking her with Invocation, the Witches Sabbath back on her is extremely powerful. That's a main consideration. She Who Knows is the interaction with Witches Sabbath really good with her. But Yaga's fun, and that counts for quite a bit in my book. The rest of the deck here, Bloody Mistress, Witches Sabbath. You saw Witches Sabbath here in a couple games. You saw it on both the extremes, right? The one game, it was bad for us. I actually didn't want to draw it in the end, but we did. And we would have lost that game anyway, but it certainly didn't help us have a chance of winning. Otherwise, though, you can see it bring back some really powerful cards. A notable thing here is you bring back Bloody Mistress. So you want to bring back Bloody Mistress. Well, she's going to be transformed to Gernichora, because you can play Gernichora round 1 or 2. So transform to Gernichora here. And then you're going to bring back the Gernichora as one of your cards with the Witches Sabbath. Ideally, you don't have Sabbath when you do that, because then Gernichora transforms back to Bloody Mistress, and that means that she can transform to Gernichora again. And why is that good, you ask? It's because she spawns the 2 fruits again, so you really want that happening. If you get too many points on your Witches Sabbath, she'll just be a 1-point a turn engine, which is fine. But if you get her to transform again, you get the 2 fruits next to her. If they're not killed, it gives you 2 more engines. Really nice. So keep that in mind. I would like to swap Royal Decree for Ownermancy, because Witches Sabbath is kind of important to the deck. So that's one change I would like to make. We'll do that in a minute here. Caretaker, again, didn't do too great for us in this game. We didn't actually end up needing him. I think we'll get the provisions from Caretaker to make this bump. All these are really good. Trial of the Grasses, I don't think we got to play today. I used it in a couple of the earlier practice games before I recorded this. I did alright. It's basically a second Parasite. And then we have the Gregory Vol. Xavier, I think, is required, but the bronzes here... Normally I say the bronzes are flexible, but actually in this case they're not. Which is pretty weird. Because you're definitely running Selfeater, you're definitely running Gansan, you're definitely running Incubus. You don't have to run 2 Incubus, but I would recommend actually running it. It's really nice. Your 5 and 4, your bronze cards are just better than most opponents' cards. And you can summon things that are row-locked to rows they're row-locked in, where their abilities don't go off. Or stuff with deploys, so that's something to keep in mind. Incubus is really strong, especially Witch Apprentice. It also sets up Lesser Witch, which you didn't actually get to, I didn't get any of the bonded of this today, but that's okay. The fact that this is just a Relict, and you've synergized so much with Relics, you just kind of run all the Relics. Like, if you take a look here, the only bronze Relict we're not running is Succubus, because it has absolutely no synergy with our deck. I guess there's a tiny bit, but no. And then the Marileron, however you pronounce this card, because we don't have Death Wishes. And there's the bronze ones. Obviously, there's a couple here, Mamuda and She Who Knows being the big ones. So actually, the Kikimore Worker here's the slot that you could be more flexible with. But yeah, so I would like to swap out this for Ownermancy. We'll do that quickly. And while I'm doing this, we'll talk about what I like about the deck. It's actually pretty fun. It's nowhere near the power of the old Relics, which is probably good. You didn't like seeing those 300 or 400 point boards. But it's definitely weaker, which is kind of annoying. And then you have, so I was going to say I took out Caretaker, right? And then what would I put in? Honestly here, Predatory Dive, really tempting. I was running this at one point in the deck because it answers so much. Very interesting. You always have the fruit as a sacrificial token to the dive, but I think I would prefer actually an Alzur's Thunder, 5 damage card like this. Just as another control tool, because I'm going to be changing a couple other things, I think. I shall leave this out for now. We'll talk about this. The other thing I want to do is, I think we might have gone a little too hard on the control, although it certainly served us well at times. So I think Gregory of Vol, Trial of Grasses will take out to be a little greedier. Just for a little bit of greed here. And then instead we'll go to the 4 provision removal and go to our friendly old, wherever it is, Natural Selection. It's because a lot of the engines we're actually having problems with are 4 power, so this should be fine. Then we have 9 provisions left, so we can fit in whatever we want here. Honestly, I'd like a Heat Wave in the deck, which is kind of what I was getting at here. But then we need to drop a provision somewhere. Probably go 1 Incubus as the choice for that, and then put in a 4 provision card. Quite a bit more changes than I was expecting here. I like Peller. We cut out the Caretaker. Let's slip in a Peller. Probably go with this, and then Yaga for She Who Knows is a very... It's whichever one you like better, right? So, honestly, I have a lot of fun with Yaga, so I think I'll keep Yaga for now. Just because he's newer, but She Who Knows is definitely a very strong contender here. So I think this is something I want to run with, more like this version. It's the 1 Incubus. Quite a bit more changes than usual here, and I think there's a lot of options, but not necessarily in the bronzes, which is interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, deck's pretty fun. I like the Witches Sabbath here. Ownermancy certainly, I think, is probably better than Royal Decree if you're not trying to fit in so many relics. But again, remember, the more relics you take out, the less you have with your Selfeater. And also harder to get Gancan going. But that'll be it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. talk about the. Hopefully, you enjoyed talking about the deck and potential changes to it. And I'll link the old version that I used in the video. Just mention this. If you get to the end and take a look at the different card changes I did, then you'll get an idea of what's going on here. But I think I'll link the old version so it's less confusing. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.